Let's start with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. Okay. We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 1, text 29. No, text 30, right? Text 30. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. Let's read the purport. Now, this is Arjun in the middle of the battle, and he's looking at all his relatives and friends and mentors, and he's not feeling good. He's feeling very, very scared and apprehensive. Due to his impatience, Arjun was unable to stay on the battlefield and he was forgetting himself on account of this weakness of his mind. Yeah. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence. Yes. So this is trying to show that अभी जब हम relatives के बारे में सोचते हैं तो we are attached. So any attachment of this kind is in terms of material attachment. Yes. And since it's a material attachment, it's going to make you forget the real essence of your duty, your existence, and of course, the strength of your mind. Bhayam. Dvit, Bhayam Dvitiya Veshatah Syat. Bhag 11.2.37. Such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material conditions. Arjun envisioned only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. मतलब खुद के relatives को मार के भी उसको खुशी तो मिलने नहीं वाली है. Even if he turns out victorious. The words nimittane viparitani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjun is showing ignorance of his real self-interest by Krishna's will. One's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjun thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him. So lamentation is basically हम लोग दुखी हो जाते हैं जैसे हाय ये मेरे साथ क्या हो गया अरे यार कितना ये हो गया oh shit you know how we crib and we अफसोस करते हैं हम लोग कितना so that is all comes under lamentation. So we are only thinking about what has already happened in the past and we are not able to go forward. Okay, and whereas our whole aim of existence is to bring ourselves closer to Krishna or our अपनी अंतर आत्मा से पास होना है हमें. तो how to be more close to your own self is something that we will learn in Bhagwat Geeta and not get influenced by the environment, material conditions, material welfare around us, which is there to always distract us to you know kind of that. Yeah. Let's move to text 31. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Let's read the purport. Without knowing that one's self interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relationships, hoping to be happy in such situations. For example, we think that अगर मैं इससे शादी कर लूंगी तो मैं बहुत खुश रहूंगी. So we are seeking happiness in others, in outside external relationships and things like that. Arjun appears to have even forgotten the moral codes for a Kshatriya. So Arjun was a Kshatriya, right? He was a warrior. It is said that two kinds of men, namely the Kshatriya who dies directly in front of the battlefield under Krishna's personal orders, and the person in the renounced order of life who is absolutely devoted to spiritual culture, are eligible to enter into the sun globe. Okay, sun globe, basically the sun planet, which is so powerful and dazzling. Arjun is reluctant even to kill his enemies, let alone his relatives. He thinks that by killing his kinsmen, there would be no happiness in his life, and therefore he is not willing to fight. Just as a person who does not feel hunger is not inclined to cook. He has now decided to go into the forest and live a secluded life in frustration. But as a Kshatriya, he requires a kingdom for his subsistence because the Kshatriyas cannot engage themselves in any other occupation. But Arjun has no kingdom. Arjun's sole opportunity for gaining a kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers and reclaiming the kingdom inherited from his father, which he does not like to do. Therefore, he considers himself fit to go to the forest to live a secluded life of frustration. You see how much he is not willing to fight now, looking at all this, and he is actually seeking purpose of life. कि ये सब करके क्या मिलने वाला है? So let's read ahead. Text 32 to 35 given together. Further, O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Yes, I think this is quite self explanatory. Let's read the purport. Arjun has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjun indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjun's senses. Yes. So there's so much of me happening here, right? Like Arjun is saying, मुझे क्या फायदा होगा, मैं कैसे रहूंगा, मैं कैसे जीऊंगा इनके बिना, मैं कैसे उनको मार के जीऊंगा. It's all about me. He's only thinking about himself. Yes. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. So the route to satisfy our senses is to first satisfy Govinda, which automatically will satisfy us. Yes. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all the desires of the living entity are satisfied. Yes. Arjun's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives, but Arjun fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. Yes, जीतने के बाद मैं किसके साथ अपनी जीत शेयर करूं, right? This is a typical calculation of a material life. Now listen to this very carefully. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. Yes. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjun did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. भगवान आप मार दो मुझे मत बोलो मारने. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjun did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. So they say that nothing works against God's plan. So if God has planned it, no matter what you do, it will happen. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjun wanted to excuse them. Yes. Let's move to text 36. Sin will overcome us if we, this is still Arjun telling to Krishna. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Yes, if we kill someone, we have committed a sin, right? Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Let's read the purport. According to Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. 1. A poison giver. 2. One who sets fire to the house. 3. One who attacks with deadly weapons. And 4. One who plunders riches. And 5. One who occupies another's land. And 6. One who kidnaps a wife. Right? Poison giver. One who sets fire to a house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, मतलब धोखा देना और पैसे लूटना, and one who occupies another's land, and 6th is one who kidnaps a wife. Yes, such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man, but Arjun was not an ordinary man. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. The kind of saintliness, however, is not for a Kshatriya. Yes, although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. Yes. For example, Lord Ram was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Ram, Ram Rajya. Yes. But Lord Ram never showed any cowardice. Yes, Ravan was an aggressor against Ram because Ravan kidnapped Ram's wife Sita. But Lord Ram gave him sufficient lessons unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjun's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, because Ravan was not related to Ram. Yeah. In Arjun's case, everyone is related to Arjun. Yeah. In Arjun's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjun thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Yes, such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Yes. Now you see how the way how your mind is working and trying to derive all sorts of excuses to not fight. You know, if there is a doubt, if there is a fear of doing something correct, like आपको कुछ सही करना है लेकिन मन में फियर है, तो आपका मन सारे एक्सक्यूजेस निकालेगा उसको नहीं करने के लिए. But the mind also works opposite way. That we have to learn. Yes. Arjun considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent. So why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjun's addressing of Krishna as Madhav, or the husband of the goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that as the husband of goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjun to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Yes, Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. Yes, yeah. Now, some more excuses we will read from Arjun. Text 37 to 38. O Janardhan, okay, still he is telling, O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Yes, let's read the purport. A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Yes, this is the duty of Kshatriya. Under such an obligation, Arjun could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhan. In this connection, Arjun considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Yes. So he's thinking that maybe Duryodhan and his party is unable to see what will happen in this war, like after this war. And so they are ready to fight. Arjun, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. But when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. So this is the logical speculation that if the effect is correct, then obligation to fight stands good. But इसका इफेक्ट ही खराब निकलने वाला है तो फाइट करने का ऑब्लिगेशन ही खत्म हो जाता है. What am I saving? Correct? Who am I saving someone from? Right? Considering all these pros and cons, Arjun decided not to fight. Yes? Text 39. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. मतलब अधर्म में तुम चले जाओगे. Let's read the purport. In the system of the Varnashram, institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. Yes. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family, beginning from the birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. Correct. So this is one more excuse for not fighting, because there are elder family. अगर सारे हमारे पूर्वज मेरे ग्रैंडफादर सब मर जाएंगे तो लोग अधर्म की तरफ चले जाएंगे, क्योंकि कोई नहीं रहेगा उनको सिखाने के क्या धर्म है और क्या अधर्म है। कोई स्पिरिचुअल वैल्यूज दे नहीं पाएगा, क्योंकि सब लोग तो नए हैं। तो इसलिए मुझे फाइट नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर मैं फाइट करूंगा तो मैं सबको ही मार डालूंगा। तो मुझे वो नहीं करना। So let's go to text 40. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Yes. तो जब अधर्म होता है वहां पे विमेन ही ये हो जाती है, क्या होते हैं, करप्ट हो जाते हैं। तो जब घर की एनर्जी, विच इज द वुमन ऑफ द हाउस, इज द एनर्जी ऑफ द हाउस, इफ दैट इज ओनली करप्टेड, then the entire family becomes corrupted, and there will be more irreligion, more adharm will come, more miscreants will get created. Correct? Let's read the purport. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. These Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation, right? So, this is the general nature of children and women which the Lord has created. Okay. So, this is the difference. Very easily prone to, getting distracted. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of the religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. So irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. Right? So हम लोग को ये ये एक चीज है कि चलो आज हम इतना देख रहे हैं कि men, if men are irresponsible, so much adultery and so many childbirths take place, which are like stranded. They don't have a proper family, proper order of life. But what if women become irresponsible? तो क्या ही हो जाएगा, right? So it is very important that we protect women. The elder members of the family are protecting the women, and they are guiding them to the right path, and they don't become irresponsible. अभी तक जो विमेन नहीं बने हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल, इसीलिए इतना ऑर्डर ऑफ लाइफ चल रहा है ठीक से। जिस दिन ये हो गया उस दिन तो पूरी सोसाइटी ही खत्म। तो ये नहीं होने देना। तो अगर ये सारे मेन जो बैटल फील्ड में आए हैं सब मर जाएंगे, तो सारी विमेन तो अकेली रह जाएगी, कौन उनको प्रोटेक्ट करेगा? और फिर वो इरिस्पॉन्सिबल हो जाएगी। दिस वाज वन मोर एक्सक्यूज फॉर नॉट फाइटिंग द बैटल। यस। We will just do one last text and then we will end. Text 41. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Yes, let's read the purport. According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. हम लोग जो बोलते हैं पितृ, उनको हमें food और water देना है. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Yes. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. Yes. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from the ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in Bhagavatam 11.5.41 in quotes. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. Yes. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. Hare Krishna, everyone. Have a nice day.